What do you think, Harp, the best way to utilize Amed Rosario in 2021 is?
I think that idea is a good one, to see what he can do at third base, maybe even some second base. Look, Jimenez should be the shortstop, no doubt about it. And Rosario, I don't think he's ever going to grow into that offensive player they want him to be in terms of pitch selection and on base and all that stuff. But he can be a dynamic hitter, so maybe that is a best role for him, as a guy who can fill in a different position, especially if you're going to move McNeil to second, which looks like that might end up being the case. Then he could play some third base, and I think he can be a guy that any given day can be a guy who can really lead the offense, because he can be dynamic hitting the ball the other way. But I don't think he's ever going to be a starter for this team again.
Let's welcome Rec and Sarah to the show and to this conversation. Sarah, just how inferior is Rosario to Jimenez at shortstop defensively? And are there reasons to believe he could excel at third base or elsewhere?
Yeah, so, his journey with defense has certainly been an interesting one. So much of the reason he was a top prospect before 2017 was because of his defense, which was hyped to be really, really good. And we all saw what happened when he first got to the majors. His defense was not great. He had negative outs above average at shortstop in each of his first 3 seasons there. But it really did change in 2020, and really that change traces back to around the All-Star break in 2019. He was positive in outs above average in the final 2 months of 2019, which actually got that number to be a little less negative. Jimenez is the more versatile defensive player, so there's reason that maybe he should play around the infield. But I do agree with John that it feels right now like Jimenez is the starter here, and Rosario does need to find a way into some sort of utility role like that.
All right, so that's the lowdown defensively, and part of the end of the point that Harp made is about whether Amed Rosario, 25 years old, can ever become that guy who's going to get on base, change the approach at the plate offensively. So, Rec, do you still believe that Amed Rosario has star potential at the plate, or is he who he is?
It doesn't seem like it, and I hate to be a negative person about it, because I've wanted to believe it. He's still so young. I mean, this kid, he came up and he was rushed up. He was rushed up to the big leagues before he was ready, both defensively and offensively, and you're seeing the repercussions of that. A guy who hasn't been able to kind of continue that development at the big league level, and because of that, I really think he might be stunted. The growth there, and the potential may have been stunted, and I think you're seeing the guy that he is, and it's unfortunate. Look, there is still room for growth. I was still growing when I was, at the end of my career, 33, 34 years old. So there certainly is still room for growth, but it doesn't seem like it. We've been harping on it. That the team has been talking to him about it, what he can do better, how he can do it better. Maybe with this influx of information and everything that Sandy's trying to get into the organization and the communication with the players, maybe they'll be able to get the message to him in a different way.